Today started out a very weird day and continued to be weird all the way to the very end. Hi, I'm JT and this is my corner. So the first thing was this morning was a mess, but the first customer that I had said, "Oh, I love your hair. Where did you get that wig?" Really? Okay. And then a few customers later, I had someone everybody complimented on my shirt. I wanted you to see this. This is an adorable shirt. It was signed by a famous artist in New York, and I just love it, and I get a lot of compliments on it. So I'm JT, and this is my corner, and tonight I wanted to talk about loyalty, and the reason that I want to talk about it is because I got into a little, the internet is a horrible place. It really is. Most people are really nice that come to my website for some reason, but there are some people that are just evil, and I don't understand. I'm a fairly nice person. Yeah, I talk shit about stuff, but overall, I'm a fairly nice person. But people just felt like they had to argue with me this week. And so I wanted to talk about loyalty because I got a note saying, you don't have an accent, so you are not Hungarian. Well, let me tell you something. I was born and raised in Hungary. We left, I wasn't raised there, but we left in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution. My parents always kept the Hungarian language and culture alive in our family all the way till the very end. Like even when, after my father died, my mom would keep the Hungarian culture just alive, with her cooking and her talking and her stories. So I don't have an accent because when I was 11, I was teased. Well, we went from Hungary to France, and I had a terrible accent because I spoke several languages. And so when I was 11 and I was in school, people would make fun of me with my heavy accent because I would roll my R's. I would say, "The rooster fell into the river," with the rolling of the R's. And so I got really sad and tired, and my sixth grade teacher, she was a nun, beautiful, Sister Dominique, because I went to a Catholic school, a grade school, Catholic high school. So Sister Dominique pulled me over and said, "Look, I can help you break your accent. You come to the convent after school 3 times a week, and I will show you how to stop rolling your R's and speak like an American." And I was like, okay. So I went all summer and part of the fall, 3 days a week. And she started with putting a mirror in front of me and making me read out loud, and then cupping my fingers over my ears. And she did all these things. But by the end of the summer, I stopped rolling my R's, and I started sounding like, not exactly, I still had an accent, but I started sounding like an American. And so, when I went back to school the following year, the kids stopped teasing me. They still, made fun of because when I get tired, I start rolling my R's again, but they still made fun of me a little bit, but not as much. So that's why I don't have an accent. Plus, when I got into radio, back then accents weren't acceptable. So I practiced even more. Now it's like everybody has an accent, and it's wonderful if you're British or English or, French, whatever. But yeah, so that is why I don't have an accent. However, so the argument between me and this person continued because the person said, "You were never in Hungary. You know, you don't know anything. You have a pea brain. You know, why are you supporting Viktor Orban? And now that you're in America, why aren't you loyal to the United States? Well, that triggered my antennas going up like out of my head. And I've been brewing about this for a couple days, so I just want to explain. I want to explain that my loyalty to Budapest, because I don't live there, is strictly out of the culture, my background, my parents, you know, my relatives. That is my loyalty. Will always be loyal to Hungary because that's where I was born. That is my native country. And even though I came to America and I am a citizen now and I am loyal to America, in the United States, you know, you can have dual citizenships and remain loyal to both countries. But I love my country. I love Hungary. I love America for everything that it has given me and my family. And I will stay loyal to both of them. And if you don't like it, you don't have to come onto my channel. You want to stick knives in my side? Go right ahead. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to change my beliefs. I'm not going to change my principles and my values and my loyalties. You know, loyalty is a funny thing anyway. I mean, you could be loyal to a brand, like, you know, a pair of jeans, or loyal to, you know, a person, and you don't have to agree with everything that they do. For example, you can be loyal to your president and not agree with what he says. You can be loyal to your pope and disagree with what they say. You know, I mean, there's a fine line between your principles, you know, your core values and your principles, what you believe and how much you can take and what you want to accept, and your loyalties. You know, I don't have to be loyal to the Pope. You know, even though I was raised a Catholic, I am no longer, but I don't have to remain loyal to the Pope. You know, I don't have to like him, and I honestly don't. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about loyalties because, like I said, the internet is so mean. And loyalty extends to family and friends and children. You know, it's important that you stay loyal to your children. You know, that way they know that they are protected, they're loved, and you might say to them, you know, if they did something bad, you might say, I don't agree with what you've done. You know, I'm totally upset that you know, did this and it's not going to cost me $3,000. I'm very upset with that, but I have your back. I'm loyal to you. I love you. And I want you to have a safe place to come, you know, when you need somebody, because I will always have your back. I always had my kids' backs. I will always have my grandchildren's backs. And I will always have my friends' backs. So that's my rant on loyalty. I'm really kind of, you know, I have my core beliefs, and I think that so many people are just plain evil, and they just have to pick at you no matter what. I mean, if I would have said, you know, the sky is blue, I'm sure this person would have found a way to say that, you know, I'm a liar, I'm a pea brain, I know nothing, I should read more books, I should do this, I should do that. So that's why I'm here. Thanks for coming. You guys have a great evening. We'll talk later.